We are here again, part 4 of Back to the Basics. So hopefully you have been following along with us. If not, feel free to catch up on all of the first 3 on our Facebook page here. But what we're going to be talking about today is what sand tray looks like with young children. Because oftentimes people who come to trainings, they really get excited about sand tray, do their own work with their partners, and then they go back to their office where they work maybe with a lot of kids, and they tell the kid to do something like make a tray about your school or something with like a 6-year-old. And the 6-year-old just looks at them like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, and then what happens is that many times the therapist says, well, sand tray doesn't work. Well, that's absolutely false. We know that. But what does happen, though, is that it looks different with young children. And the reason for this is that young children really live in their right brain. And so they haven't developed that abstract thought yet. So again, their tray's going to look different. It doesn't mean that it's going to work. But I'm here to tell you a little bit of what to expect when you're working with young children in the sand. Now, one thing that I want you to remember is, and that's really, really helpful actually, is you don't have to do a lot of introduction. The kids who come into my sand tray room, they're usually like, whoa, sand, yes, toys, and they will immediately start to go to work. Now adults, which we'll be talking about next week, are oftentimes a little more hesitant and more like, what do you want me to do, that kind of thing. Kids, they automatically take to it. Now, but what it will look like oftentimes is they will take something like a sifter, a bowl. They may do things like this. They're usually talking, or maybe not, but they are moving the sand around with their hands. Maybe they are taking a lion and they're telling a story about the lion, and then the lion goes, "Wah!" and here's the turtle. And your job then as a sand tray therapist is to come and join their world through tracking, reflecting, summarizing, much like you do in traditional non-directive play therapy. So this is why it's important for you to have sand tray training, to be able to understand how your role is different as a therapist than somebody just playing with a kid, and how you need to respond to them when they are what looks like to other adults is they're just playing. Absolutely not. That is not the case. But the difference is that you're there, you're in a safe setting, you're providing that safe space, that neuroception of safety for that child. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up that if you come in and you have a directive that you're all excited about telling this 6-7-year-old maybe, and they look at you like you're crazy, it doesn't mean that sand tray's wrong or you're wrong. Their brain is just at a different level. So to expect lots and lots of moving worlds and narrated, and again, your job is to join them through tracking, reflecting, summarizing, all those awesome non-directive play therapy skills that you do. Anyway, you're going to do that, but in the sand. So again, I wanted to give you guys a heads up and some more information that if you're going to be working with littles in the sand, this is some of the things to expect, and it's completely okay. All right, we'll see you next week.